Hey everybody, it's Mike with Monkey Fab, along with Bob, the shop sheep. Bob. There. So, yeah, today we are back with the engine, and I'm gonna degree the cam. So that's something that maybe some people might find interesting. It's honestly been a few years. I hope it's like riding a bicycle. I doubt it. I'll probably have to figure it all out, but we'll stumble through it. I always do. And yeah, so I got the cam in. We left it. It's basically a short block right now. I got to get the cam put in, and that chain has got to be there, or none of this will work. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the chain put on. I got one of these Summit Performance timing kits. The reason I do like it is because it is a single roller. A lot of these aftermarket cam kits have a double roller, which is a total pain in the ass. You know it's a pain in the ass. And it's got the right timing notches for the cam sensor, the cam position sensor, and this guy. So what you gotta do is put it on. I taped the Woodruff key here in place so we wouldn't lose it, but the gist of this guy is, let's see, there is a 0 right now. There's a 0 right now. You can see or can't. And then it has, like, I think every 2 degrees, like it'll be like an A2 for advancing to, or R2 retarding to, and that just basically gives you your offset. So we're gonna just drop it lined up with the Z and assume that that's good, hopefully. And this guy is on now too. This is aluminum, which is make a nice little drift. There we go. Put this on. I only like tightened like 4 bolts up. The rest are just kind of snugged in, so hopefully they won't fall out. I won't be looking for them. But yeah, this just keeps the cam from sliding back as we're messing with this, and then we'll go ahead and throw the front cover on there too. I think these cam bolts are like 18 foot-pounds, but I don't remember. We're just gonna snug them down for now. We'll do it tight enough that it might not fall out if I forget to retighten them. Okay, so what we got here, as you can see, is the dots. The dot here, and that's the 0 mark. What we want to do is just kind of try to see if they. Yeah, so perfect, looks good. You see the 0 and the dot are all lined up. Yeah, you guys can see that real nice. That's why I spent the money for this super expensive camera. Right, Bob? Bob. Hey, Bob. 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 You guys want to see Bob's favorite game? You gotta show everybody the trick, the Bob trick. Ready? You ready? Get it, Bob. Oh, good Bob. Good Bob. It's gonna get you. Get it, Bob. Oh, good job. You're so fierce, huh? Don't hit me. Don't hit me. Way too much. You're too chubby. Too chubby. Bob's a warrior sheep. We need to find top dead center. so we can start doing calculations to make sure that this is what they call straight up, meaning that, you know, the marks are on and it should be what the cam card says. But it's good to verify that. It doesn't hurt. I think in today's manufacturing, it's extremely likely that those marks are going to be exactly what it's supposed to be. So we need a degree wheel, and you can get these online. And we're gonna have to adjust it, so we're not gonna really worry. But the idea is has this little thing around here so you can kind of get it lined up and in the center. Now with the degree wheel, we're not gonna worry about getting it centered up just yet, because we got to move it around and put everything in place. So with the degree wheel, what we need is a pointer. So we'll need something to point to our degree wheel so we can line it up and say like, hey, this is top dead center, right? So what I'm going to do is grab some welding rod, and we'll just make something with a bolt and some bent welding rod. Now we got a pointer. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea if you're doing this to use a little thicker. This is like 1/16 wire, but I've already wasted this wire because I use it for something else. It was all bent up and rusted anyway, so I'm just going to use this instead of wasting good wire. And now we got to find top dead center so we can actually place this thing where it's at top dead center, and that should make sense. There's a couple different ways you can do that. One is to put a piston stop in and just go halfway, divide the two, and that's where you're supposed to be at. And then another way is to use a dial bridge, which is the way we're going to do. So we got a dial bridge and our pointer. Now what we got to do is figure out where top dead center's at, and the easy way to do this is pick a place where you want to end up at. So we'll set this guy here, and what we'll do is we'll go like 50 thou from the top, and then we'll measure 50 thou on the downstroke. So we're going to upstroke 50 thou, measure it, go to the downstroke 50 thou, measure that, and then we'll know the in-between is the exact top dead center. What I usually do is I set these up with 100 thou, I think it is, of preload, just one full turn of the clock, and now it should be zeroed out at what should be top dead center. Our lines are all lined up, but what we're going to do is take it 50 thou from there. There, perfect. Okay, so we are at, if you look at this, you're going to see here's top dead center, and here's our pointer. And if we look at it like I'm looking at it, it's hard to get the camera lined up directly in front, but it looks like it is at 55, 6, 7. So 57 is the back side of the stroke. And now I need to catch it on the front side. So 57, let me write that down because I'll forget. Okay, same thing as before, except this time we're going to catch it on the upstroke. So as soon as our little dial starts to move, then we know to stop it at 50 thou. Let's see, how many? Okay, that's not the one we want anyway. We want the actual top dead center stroke, which is coming up. Okay. Here's our target right around now. Oh no, we missed it. That's alright. We need the exercise. that is it. Okay. Our second number is 81. So what we got to do now is take the 81, figure out the difference between 57 and 81, our first number, and then half that, which is 24, 12. So 12 is add 57, we got 69. So what we need to do now is move this crankshaft to where that pointer says 69 degrees. And then we got to take this guy and adjust it so that it's pointing at 0. Okay, so we adjusted that to 0, and now we need to catch it on both the upstroke and the downstroke. We'll go to 50 thou again. We are 6 degrees, and I'm sorry, not 6. We are 11 degrees or 12 degrees. We are kind of in between, to be quite honest. We are 12 degrees, okay. So now let's catch 50 on the down. That is 12 degrees. Okay, so we are at top dead center. Hooray. So same thing, just validate that you got that. And then another way that you can double check just to be on the safe side is watch your dial indicator. And when you get to top dead center, it should rock over as you pass it. So that's bottom dead center. Here we come, top dead center. And there is top dead center there, and we pass it, and you see the rock over on the dial gauge. Okay, so we got this guy in the lifter bore, and it is a dial indicator. It is all that it does. Oh no! And what we need to do with it is we need to find the base. Oh! Did you guys know that number 6 is the exact same as number 1 as far as all your readings are concerned? True story. You can set the cam using number 6. So we need to find the base of the cam circle, which we should be on, but the easy way to check is just to turn it over and just watch it. Now we're up on the lobe. It goes around a few times and downside, and back on the cam circle. Okay, so on the base lobe, what we want to do is just, so what we need to know is at 50 thou, so we're going to watch this guy, watch till it goes to 50 thou, and we're going to mark that down. And then we're going to measure, take that measurement, go until it is at 50 thou on the downslope, and that's going to tell us what the duration of that camshaft is. When it meets its rockover, we're also going to take that down, because that times 1.7 will tell us our total valve lift. Okay, so I had to shut the camera off because I was like, bro, you're having a brain fart, something's not right, you're not remembering the math right. It's been a while. It really has been like 3 years since I've messed with this kind of stuff. But I wasn't doing it wrong. I was doing it right. I wasn't doing it wrong. I was doing it right. I wasn't doing it wrong. I was doing it right. Here's what we actually have. So here's what I was supposed to have. It was a advertised as 221 duration at 50 thou, 227 exhaust duration at 50 thou. Lift is like 584, 583 with a 112. Thanks, Bob, with a 112 lobe separation angle. The lift is good. That's correct. I was getting them that, and I've checked that before. Just kind of without the degree wheel, you can check your lift, because it's just whatever your max lift is times 1.7, which is your rocker arm ratio, which will give you your max lift. So is 261 duration on the intake, on the exhaust. So it's 258 duration on the intake, and 261 duration on the exhaust, which would never work in this universe. Hey everybody, it's Mike with Monkey Fab. So yeah, sometimes you're just a jackass, you know? You do everything right, you do your homework, and things just go poorly. So that's where I am with this cam on this engine. And I bought this cam used. It was bad, and I just couldn't figure it out. Everything was lining up except the duration. The duration was like crazy. And I put this up on the Facebook, and some super smart cam people were like, "You're measuring it wrong." And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to measure it wrong. So this cam's paid for, and I'd like to use it. That would be great." And it turns out I was measuring it wrong. It was pretty simple, actually. I used the tool. I got this fancy tool. Oh, the horrors of the fancy tool. So I got this fancy tool right here, and had it in the lifter bore, and this is what it's made to do. And I was checking it, and I was getting like crazy long duration. And some of you already know what the problem is, and kudos, you guys are badasses. But couldn't figure it out. And then I was like, well, I don't know any. Maybe I'll go watch videos. I'll read up. I did all that, and I'm like, man, I'm doing this right. And then one of the dudes on his name's Mr. Oliver, I want to say Jones, I hope I get that right, I'm really bad with names, but his name's Oliver for sure, said like, bro, I always use a lifter. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh man, I remember Judd at the School of Automotive Machinists talking about flat tappets versus rollers. And you'll see this guy here, it's a flat tappet, so it's big and flat. So what happens is that cam rolls through there. It has a whole huge surface area to touch on, while as a roller, can you imagine a roller just is touching on one kind of point as it goes around the lobe. So that's where I was picking up extra duration, was this flat piece here. And I tried to ball it, like the end has like a little screw-on deal, and I thought, well, maybe it came with, I'm sure it probably said something in the directions, but maybe it came with like a thing, but I couldn't find anything. So I took this to the sander and rounded it and then polished it so it's nice and smooth, but it was still getting kind of inaccurate readings. So I put the lifter back in there. I went with the old mag base, so you guys can see that now. And I will show you now how to degree this cam properly. We got this guy set up, and you guys saw me how I set the top dead center on this. And then what we did do is we put a lifter inside the bore right in there, and then I just took a screw and stuck it in the middle and like kind of drilled the head of that bolt so that the dial guy could fit in there. And then I just pushed it and ran it around so it kind of lay as flat as possible against the actual cam lobe. And this is just a magnetic base, and it's kind of important, just want to make sure it's not hitting as you go top dead center, that's hitting. It's kind of tough with these aluminum engines. I would say the smart thing to do probably make some kind of plate for this thing to mag onto, so you're not having your pistons smacking into it as you're going around. But the purpose of this video is to verify what cam we actually have. I was sent a picture of the specs. It didn't come with the actual cam card, and that's fine. So what we're gonna do is set it up. We are on the intake valve, and the easy way to check is just look at the valve reliefs. So the big one, intake, small one, exhaust. So we're on the intake valve, and our flywheel has been set to top dead center. And with that, we can get some measurements. What we're gonna get is the lift at 50 thou. So if I get this picture here, hopefully that's good. So when this dial, it's on, set it to 0 on the base circle. So as we come down and hit this base circle, so now we're on the base circle of the cam, right there. So that's where there's no lobe because this guy stopped moving. So we're just gonna move that to 0, and we're gonna start rotating. And what we're gonna look for is, as soon as it starts to move, we're gonna bump it up to 50 thousandths, and we're gonna take that measurement in degrees off of the flywheel. And we should be getting something soon. There we go. What we do is just kind of bump it. Okay, there's 50 thou. So come down here and check our degree wheel, and depending on how I hold this camera, I get a whole host of degrees, but we're gonna say it's at 1.5 is what it looks like to me. So I'm gonna write that down on our opens at 50 thou on our specialty piece of cardboard here. So we are 2 degrees before top dead center. And now we're gonna find the max lift on this guy. We should be around 300, should be a little over 300. So we have a preload of 1. So we're gonna go past the 2. There's 100, 200, 300 lift, and somewhere it's gonna max out. So we're just gonna watch this dial till it's gonna go and then stop and then start coming back down. We want to catch it right around that stop area. So we're at 330. Should have been more than that. Something went wrong. Let's take it over again. Yeah, we're off our base circle. Damn it. Magnetic bases are not super suitable for these aluminum blocks, but whatevs. Okay, so there we go. There's 100 thou, 200 thou, 300 thou, and we should be in the 40. Yeah, 340. Okay, so it looks like we're getting 340. So we'll write that down. 0.340. And now we go back down. 3, 2, 1, and we're going to want to bump this guy to 50. Uh-oh, went past it. All right, we'll just go around again. This mag base is doing a shady job. Bear with me. One, 2, 3, Okay, so that was 344. 44 is our lift on the exhaust or the intake valve. Why am I writing this on the exhaust valve? Max lift 344. I hear you, Bob. We all hear you. And 2, 1. Okay, and we are at 219. So we close at 219 after top dead center. My 9 looks like a 4. My 9s always look like 4s. That's good. That's the information we need. You guys saw how we got that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to swap this up and we're going to put this lifter in the exhaust bore. Okay, so we are back on the exhaust cam, base circle, and we're just gonna got 100 thou of preload, and we're just gonna look for this guy to start to open. It's right there, and there we go. Take our measurement. It is going to be 48 degrees. 47.5, maybe 47.5 was what we're writing down. Our max lift, there is 100, 200, 300, and we should be 40-ish, 42-ish, 342. 1, 2, and here we come on the 50. Okay, and that is 1.5. 1.5 before top dead center. Okay. So on our intake cam, we're 2 degrees before top dead center, and we're closing, that's 50 thou. So the cam opens to 50 thousandths at 2 degrees before top dead center, and it closes, well, it's at 50 thou before close at 219 after top dead center. So that's just simply adding those two together. So we know 2 before and then 219. So 219 plus 2 is 221. So our duration is 221 at 50 thou of lift. Okay, and our max lift is 344. So we're gonna all you have to do for max lift is the number that is actually, that's 144 thousandths of an inch times the rocker arm ratio. The rocker arm ratio here is 1.7 for LS motors, so that is 584.8. So our lift is 585, I would say. The center line, let's see if I can remember how to do this. So the center line of our cam is 221 divided by 2. Okay, and then we have to subtract 2. So minus 2 equals 108.5. 108.5 is a cam lobe center line. And then for our exhaust cam, it is 47.5 before top dead center. So we have 47.5 BD before top dead center plus 1.5 before top dead center. So clear. So we got 47.5 plus 1.5, and then we have to add the 180 degrees between the two, so 180. So that is 229 And then we're going to subtract the 1.5 minus 1.5 equals 227.5. I feel like I got that. Did I mess that up? Let me make sure that I wrote that down. Maybe it was after top. Oh, you know what? I think this is after top bed center. Did you do that right, Mike? No, you got it right. Okay. And yeah, but hey, this is a lot better. This beats the 250, 260 degrees of duration that the actual cam checker tool was giving me with that big round bead on the bottom of it. With the cams, a degree here, a thou there, you know, it's probably you, is what I've come to find out. It's probably not the cam. Thought this cam was messed up. I was shocked because I was like, man, this is the first cam I've ever seen messed up, and it turned out the cam wasn't messed up. So rickety mag bases and Harbor Freight dial gauges, stuff like that, small timing wheel, all that stuff adds up in the tolerances, a degree or two, a thou here and there. Not a big deal. Happy that the cam is more than like it's where it's supposed to be, timing wise, and it's what it's supposed to be duration wise, and I'm happy about that. That'll be a good cam for this car. I think it's like a hair off of sloppy stage 2 cam. And yeah, so now all I gotta do is tear it all apart and grease up the cam, put all the pieces back and smack it together, because that cam's been out like 3 times. I thought it was wrong. I thought someone did me dirty, but it didn't do me dirty. I feel bad for thinking that. So apologies for bad thoughts. And yeah, we'll get on with this guy now that you guys have seen the whole degree the cam catastrophe.